This is America. We have a founding fathers that wrote a constitution that we haven't lived by in 142 years.
If the government does not like the way that you are raising your kids, they will come in and grab them at any time without giving any warning whatsoever. Of course, this is completely and totally unlawful, but it has been happening all over America. The most recent example of this that has made national headlines is particularly egregious. Joe and Nicole Nogler of Breckinridge County, Kentucky just had their 10 children brutally ripped away from them just because the government does not approve of how they are living their lives, and how they are educating their young ones. Let's be very clear about this. Joe and Nicole had done nothing to violate the law whatsoever. All of their kids were happy, healthy and very intelligent. But because the control freaks running things in Kentucky got wind of their off-the-grid lifestyle, they have now had all of their children unlawfully abducted from them. A lot of my readers also lead off-the-grid lifestyles similar to what the Noglers had been enjoying. The Noglers own 26 acres in a remote area of Breckinridge County, and their family has been described as extremely happy. But despite never giving them a single warning or a single indication that anything was ever wrong, Kentucky police raided their home on May 6. The following is how the raid was described on a website dedicated to this case on May 6, 2015. Breckinridge County Sheriff's officers came to their home, acting on an anonymous tip, and entered their property and home without a warrant and without probable cause. Nicole was at home with the 2 oldest children, while Joe was away with the others. When the officers left the home, they attempted to block the access road to the family property. Nicole and the 2 boys got in their car to leave the family property. They got only a short way down the road before the officers pulled Nicole over. During the stop, sheriff's deputies took their 2 oldest boys from Nicole's custody, providing her no justification or documentation to support their action. Nicole was able to contact Joe briefly by telephone, but only for a short period of time, because she needed to use her phone to record the events. At that point, Nicole had been taken into custody for disorderly conduct for not passively allowing the sheriff to take her boys and resisting arrest. Even though she is 5 months pregnant, she was slammed belly first into the cop car and bruised and scraped on both arms. And people wonder why there is such an uproar about police brutality in this country. How in the world can a police officer ever justify treating a pregnant woman like that? The police officer that treated Nicole like that should immediately resign. Talk about an utter disgrace. You do not ever treat a pregnant woman like that. But this is America, where we are turning a little bit more into Nazi Germany every single day. You can listen to audio of Nicole's shocking arrest right here. When Joe arrived on the scene, the police continued to act like Gestapo thugs. Joe was able to arrange transportation to meet his wife, where the stop had taken place. Joe attempted to get out of the car, to speak with the officers and his wife, and to recover the vehicle Nicole had been driving. The sheriff, with his hand on his sidearm, ordered Joe back into the car. Joe complied with that request. The sheriff informed Joe that he had every intention of making this as difficult as possible for them, and that their car would be impounded, despite the fact that Joe was there on site to recover it. A friend, who had driven Joe to the location, got out of the car to speak with the sheriff. She was able to convince the sheriff to let Joe recover the vehicle. Joe also recovered Nicole's cell phone, which had been recording audio the entire time. The sheriff ordered Joe to turn the remaining 8 children over to Breckinridge County Sheriff's deputies by 10 a.m., and threatened him with felony charges if he does not comply. Joe did comply with the sheriff's order, and now their kids have been scattered by CPS among families in 4 separate counties. As of now, officials have placed the children with 4 families in 4 different counties, and as of Friday morning, the parents had not spoken with them. The 4 families are families that CPS chose. Families the Noglers don't know. Shame on you, Kentucky. You are supposed to be better than this. One of the most disturbing elements of this entire incident is that Child Protective Services never visited the Noglers a single time, and never gave them any indication that anything was wrong. The following comes from Off the Grid News. Child Protective Services never visited the home, said Ellisworth, who believes the arrests took place because of the parents' choice of unschooling for their children, and because of their simple way of life, that some would call backwards. The family's Facebook page calls it a back-to-basics life. They have a garden and raise animals. Deputies apparently were concerned about whether the children's needs were being met, but friends say they personally have no concerns, and that the children are blessed to have Joe and Nicole as their parents. How would you like it if government thugs raided your home and took your children away because they considered your lifestyle to be backwards? What in the world is happening to this country? Like I said earlier, what happened to the Noggulars is not an isolated incident. These kinds of things are happening all over the nation. For example, just consider the abuse that one homeschooling family received in New Jersey. Meanwhile, in New Jersey, a WND report highlights how parents were interrogated by a CPS caseworker, who questioned Christopher Zimmer and his wife Nicole on everything from their son's homeschool education to questions about vaccines and guns in the house. Michelle Marchese aggressively demanded to enter the property after asserting Christopher Zimmer Jr. was not getting a proper education. Police subsequently arrived and allowed Marchese to enter the home before conducting a warrantless search. The Zimmers are now suing the CPS for $60 million in a case before the U.S. District Court in Trenton. I very much hope that the Zimmers win that case and collect a huge monetary award. All over the nation, CPS officials are running around acting like little dictators and trampling the law. They need the courts to send them a clear message that this is a nation where the rule of law still applies. If we do not stand with families like the Noggulars, control-freak bureaucrats will continue to harass families that have chosen to live a basic lifestyle all over the nation. So let's stand with them and make this case viral all over the internet. And Kentucky, get your act together and send those kids back home. You are supposed to be so much better than this. Don't forget to follow Tattoo1009.com on Facebook and Twitter and YouTube and Dailymotion and StumbleUpon. Please help spread the word by sharing our articles on your favorite social networks. Go to the links in the below section for updates every day. From my cold dead hands, abolish the corporate government.